This episode is brought to you by Mortgage Workflow Partners and the Mastering Encompass series, both for users as well as administrators. You can find out all the information about it over at masteringencompass.com. Also, if you'd like to check out what we're doing on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel using the @MasteringEncompass handle. And make sure you stay up to date on all the information, not just with podcasts, but also video content that we bring to you as often as possible. Now let's get on to the episode. Hey everyone, Larry Bailey here, and we're going to go through a first impression video of 24.2. ICE Mortgage Technology released this to our testing environments over the weekend of August 4th, 5th, depending on when you got it. Today's August 5th, and I'm going to go through. I don't know if anybody's actually done a first impression of a major release, but I thought this was appropriate because there's a ton of information that's coming out in here. And so what I want to make sure is that you know what to do and how to get this. A couple things. First of all, if you head over to mortgage.community, you can actually check out the article over here. So if we come over into the mortgage.community and you can actually look up for, this is a reminder of the new way, right? So in here under the Encompass section, you'll actually find a lot of information in here that goes over different information that admins are sharing back and forth. I make sure that everybody stays on track with conversations on here. And one of the things that I want to make sure I posted up here first is a reminder of how to make sure on your desktop that you can access your production environments, which are not on 24.2. They're presumably on 24.1 something, probably 0.5 or 0.6, depending on what you're doing. But you go through here and you'll actually be able to read these instructions and follow this. What you want to do is come down here to where it says create a secondary smart client shortcut on your desktop and follow those instructions. I will say that as a result of this new update, one of the things that is announced here in the admin checklist, if you didn't go through the admin checklist video that I posted last week, do yourself a favor and go through that now. But there's a new Encompass installer. So naturally, I want to try it. And it did work. It did work. You can see it's got a new fancy logo on there, which is the new Encompass platform logo. No longer the spinner. That's the old spinner version. That's the new. Notice, though, when you do launch it, it still does use the traditional logo for Encompass, I guess is what you'd call it. Admin Tools, though. Admin Tools got the new logo. It looks like a hammer and a wrench. So I guess that's a universal symbol for tools, so that's on there. But there's a lot of things in here that I'm looking for, so I thought this would be a really good kind of showcase to go through the steps, make sure, again, you're focusing in on the admin checklist and that we go through. So the very first thing is if we go over into our settings, can we go over and can we look in secondary setup? This is a big one, so if you're looking for how to make sure you update. Obviously, this is the first chance we get at looking at the ICE PPE. So we're getting this new drop down. And when we look in here for ICE PPE, we see Encompass product and pricing. So that's good. So what we were looking for here in the release notes is look for product and pricing. So click here for more information, and we're looking for the provider list in the product and pricing provider integration section has been updated to release the new name. So we are looking inside of the settings and not finding it there. So what I'm going to do is go back over into settings, go over into EPC. Now EPC maybe is what they meant in here. So let's go check that out. If we go to services management, we're in the web version settings. Let's go ahead and add service, and let's look in product and pricing here. Retrieve those products. We see Encompass product and pricing there, and we do not see it here yet. So if you're looking for ICE PPE in here, I'm not finding it, and I am on version 24.2.0.0. So if you're looking for it, I'm looking for it too. We'll have to come back to it and see what's happening. Affordable housing, this one is pretty exciting if you do affordable housing. So that did show up reliably. That is actually in the category of automated data completion, and you've got your MFI for median family income. Your AMI is still there, and your home counselors there. So if you didn't realize that you could automate your home counselors, go ahead and do it. It's right there. And same thing, if you're using AMI, now this is interesting because for those companies that are using custom borrower summary origination input forms, you want to make sure that you're grabbing everything that's always released. So if you don't see AMI in your Encompass files, right? So if we go back over into here, let's go into just a test file. This is my testing environment. So let's go ahead and just create a new loan. You can see how bare bones this system is. Like, we basically just do this as a complete sandbox for new releases. Not many people get that luxury, so I'm glad we have this opportunity. But here is the standard native borrower summary origination, and if we scroll down a bit down here towards the bottom, you'll see the affordable loan eligibility. So now you have this section. If you don't have this section anywhere in your Encompass, either A, you're not doing affordable housing programs, which I guess is okay, or B, you're just not seeing what you need to see. So make sure you stay on top of that. Here you've got your Get MFI button, and here you've got your Get AMI button, and then you can do what you want to in terms of making sure your borrowers are eligible for those programs here. So let's go back over to our checklist. That's our AMI. And there we go, some more MFI stuff and AMI stuff, and then it talks about how to manage that. So there's new tables, right? So now in Encompass, we've got even more tables administratively to manage because we need them. So we've got now affordable lending. In affordable lending, we were first had AMI limits, but now we have MFI limits. So you can see that's blank. You see, the last time I did this was November of last year, probably when I did one of these videos. So MFI limits, go ahead and download. I'm not going to do that now because I don't know how long that's going to take. So make sure you do that appropriately. We've got new HELOCs, checkboxes for qualification. I don't need to go in there because that's not an input form change. I would definitely encourage you to check that out. And then also, we've got some new lines. Oh, let's get over there because that's something that a lot of companies either don't do or don't take the opportunity to do, which is to put up in 700, but the ability to do these things. So here you've got now, if we do commissions, right? And if the borrower is paying $2,300 and if the seller is paying $4,500, we now have that total of commissions earned in here, which of course lines up with the NAR settlement. And then you've got another line here for whatever. You can see who it's paid by. Remember these legends, by the way, are up here. So anytime you see a B, I know some people get confused, like B, they think it means for borrower. It's for TPO. It's for broker, lender, or other. And then over in here, this checkbox represents if it was paid outside closing or paid through closing, if it was borrower selected or APR fees. That's what these three column checkboxes mean. And then over here, paid to, again, broker, lender, seller, investor, affiliate, or other. And that's all important to make sure you're documenting those checkboxes properly. New lock icon, blah, blah, blah. That stuff's okay. You got some HUIPA stuff in there, manufactured. Okay, so let's go over, check that out. That's going to be on URLA part 4. Let's go ahead and show all. And by the way, if you just had to do what I had to do, which is to show an alpha order and show all, and you're kind of scrolling up and down, get with your Encompass admin and get your input form sets fixed. And when I say fixed, I mean either created or managed properly. You should not habitually have to check these boxes. That is not best practice. And if you're finding that you're doing that, you should do something about it. You can always come up here to loan. You can always click apply input form set template. If you've created them, they'll be here. Hit select. If you ever want to see what's in there, click details. And you'll see what's in there and go from there. All right, so here's the width. There's your new. Is it a manufactured single wide or manufactured multi-wide? No longer double wide because now they make triple wides. I don't know if they make quad wides, but definitely triple wides I've heard of. And I don't think that means you put single wides back to back to back. They're just framed different. All right, let's see what else we got here. We've got some new pre-approval checkbox has been added to credit information. Yeah, that's going back again. This is another call out, right? So again, if you're not using the native borrower summary origination field, when you come down into the credit section, you've got this down here, pre-qual credit report and pre-approval credit report. This is getting to be a little bit interesting. I don't understand personally the compliance regulations or reporting regulations. I'm sure someone who's much smarter than me already knows the answer. But these two checkboxes are here. So again, if you're using a custom input form, you've got a couple weeks to get these checkboxes added to your production environment. Assuming the fields are even available in production, which I'm just thinking through, they won't be. So you're going to have, as an admin, you're going to have to do this like first thing right around the 18th or so, 19th of August, because we only have a couple of weeks until this goes into production. So that's where that is right there. Let's see what else we got. New fields added to state specific, loan archive feature. So if you're doing API stuff, you've now had the ability to reach in and archive, deal with the archive features via API. We're on page 13 now, correspondent lending. If you're doing correspondent lending, pay attention to the release notes here. I'm not going to get into that in this first thing. Enhanced conditions. Are we still in correspondent? Update to this is update to enhanced conditions. So for enhanced conditions, this is the character limit. So if you're using enhanced conditions, which I hope you are, I hope you're working towards it at least. So you'd come over into your E folder, you come over into enhanced conditions, and now when you go ahead and create a condition, you can go out to 255 characters, not 125 or 128, so 255, another bit reference. Read-only partner field, okay, rename to service, don't really find any interest in going to explore that right now. New internal description column has been added to the following enhanced condition pop-up windows. Okay, cool. So when you go through and you have the following pop-up windows, add conditions. Okay, so let's go check that out. So if we're in a file, I don't have enhanced conditions turned on, so I can't test it. Damn it. So let's go over and talk about how to add enhanced conditions, and let's talk about that. That's going to be over in the policies. So if we come over in, we're going to come down here to where it says enhanced condition workflow. You want to double click that to enabled, and you want to set the date. What that means is every loan created on that date until you make a change is going to be involved in enhanced condition workflow. So if I were to save this and then restart Encompass and then create a new loan, I would have enhanced conditions in this environment. And how do you know if you have enhanced conditions? Because you only have one conditions tab. That's how you know. So I would encourage you to check that out. And by the way, you can create, right? So if you go back here, you can create, I guess I closed it. You can create a bunch of enhanced condition loans for testing and then to flip it right back. So if you don't have a testing environment, but you want to still kind of test enhanced conditions, go to your admin tools, turn on enhanced conditions workflow for that moment, save it, restart Encompass, create like 10 loans, and then go back to admin tools and flip it back to disabled. Do this overnight or outside business hours or whatever. And that way you'll have these 10 loans that you can actually play around with enhanced conditions. In case you didn't know you could do that. You can. Terrific. So let's get back into our updates here. New persona option for web scheduler tool. Actually, I want to test it out because it was a bummer when I went in over in here. Looks like I got logged out. So let's go ahead and get logged back in. Sorry, gang. So if you have, by the way, if you have SSO enabled for your environment, you don't have to worry about ping ID. In case you didn't know that. So if we go back over into pipeline, one of the things that I was kind of bumming about here. Just before I started recording, I went over here and I was looking for, let's go ahead and create a new loan, just to make sure it's not a new loan kind of a thing. Let's see if I can get one. Here we go. Oh, there we go. So if we create a new loan, I told you it was a bare bones system. So if we come over here, what I was looking for is scheduler stuff up in here, right? This is milestones and this is some other things in here. I go over a full review of how to use Encompass Web, which is a phenomenal tool, by the way, especially right now if you're in sales. You got to go check out those videos I'm doing on that stuff. So anyway, what I'm looking for here is these kinds of things that are in specifically for Encompass Web, and I wasn't seeing that. So let's go over into the persona, and let's go over and see if we've got, under the web version, if we've got those new settings, because let's see, web version. And we can see over in here, scheduler event tool, bang. There it is. That's really cool. So schedule event tool basically means you can set things up to go on a clock and then have happen at a certain time. So think like 5 days before closing or 2 days after application date is met, those kinds of things. So it's good to see it's there, but it's not in web yet. So maybe that's rolling out this week. We'll have to see. Read sheet ID, new product and pricing provided from lock request form secondary tool. We'll see about that. I haven't been able to find that yet. This option enables a user to select a different provider. This is actually really important. So the whole point here is that when you look through the full release notes, when you go in, if you're using ePPS, you're going to have to modify your, the way I understand it at least, you're going to have to go into your secondary setup in here, go to product and pricing, and you're going to select this to not be Encompass product and pricing service. It'll just be ICE PPE or something like that. It's just not there, not there. So whatever the ICE PPE is supposed to be there, you do that. But then when you're in a loan file and you go to get pricing, what actually has to happen is if you go over here and you go to search for product and pricing, you have to give the team member the ability to select a provider, because there's a disconnect right now in this where it's going to say ICE PPE in the settings, but here you have to give them the chance to select Encompass product and pricing. So that's what this is really talking about right here. Right here. You got to do this. So if you're using ePPS, pay attention to this part. It's really, really important. External reporting database is being deprecated finally. All right, and here's that new Encompass version. I will say, because I had to do it just to see what it was like, there's about 4 different installation pieces of software inside your computer. Work with your IT team. It took me a hot second to find the 4th one, which is the Encompass Core program. That's just my set of skill sets, not finding it the first time. And you go through, but like I said, I guess it's faster. I don't know. I didn't really notice the difference overtly. I will say this as I'm thinking about, though, when you normally have your Encompass installer, it lists out a big long list of things that it has to go through. You don't see that anymore. So actually, that is different. So I take that back. It is different. But it does give you this icon, so it's a little confusing. This is the new icon for the installer. When you launch it, you still get the old icon or the current icon, I guess, maybe. Anyway, it is actually quicker. So for you IT folks out there, check it out. In order for it to work, though, you do have to uninstall every single component, your document converter, like everything. Uninstall all that. It'll go through, and as I think about it now, it actually did go a lot quicker. So kudos to you, ICE Mortgage Technology team. And that's first reaction, right? So we've been going through on here. I would say first reactions are looks great. It looks stable. I didn't have any errors come in. We saw most of what I was looking for. I'm kind of bumming that in here I don't have the stuff I was really looking for Encompass Web, but I'm imagining that'll be here soon enough. And make sure you head over to mortgage.community. It's a free account. If you don't already have an account, no problem, just sign up. It takes like 3 minutes for you to sign up and then get approved. And then head over to this article, look up this specific text, and we'll see you as production rolls on. If you have any questions, make sure you come to the Live Tuesday events at 4 p.m. here in the community. They'll be over here in the live events section. So you can see this month's, for August, these events will be in here. This was last week's on July 30th where we talked about this one. So we'll see you in the community. And again, my name is Larry Bailey. Thanks very much for listening. We'll catch you on the next video.